Triple Double Watch, guys. Today we are previewing MLB Postseason. It is officially October. It was not October before this. Now, today, on what is really October 7th, now it's October. So, congratulations. Welcome to October. You've made it. Postseason baseball is here. We're going to dive into all 12 teams, get some strengths and weaknesses. Wildcard series starts tonight, I'm assuming, when you're seeing this. We'll probably post this Friday morning. But yeah, we're here. 3-game wildcard series. First time, well, not ever. They did in 2020 shortened season, but first time officially. And it's going to be exciting. So we'll get right into it. Where you want to start out,
Let's go AL. Let's go through the seeds. So we'll start with Houston. They got the number 1 overall seed in the East or in the AL. So I just I probably have them as my favorites for the AL. To just have a balanced roster up and down, lineup, pitching. They have a lot of pitching options. They've been running 6 or 7 different starters in the regular season, so it's going to be interesting to see who they run out there and how they use it. They got the number 1 overall.
Yeah, for sure. I think whatever starters they choose not to use, whoever 5, 6, 7 ends up being will still be really, really great pieces in the bullpen.
Yep.
Hard throwers left and right, and so I think they're my favorite overall for the World Series right now, even over the Dodgers. I like their pitching more than the Dodgers. We'll get into them more later, but Tony Gonsolin's coming off injury, and other guys aren't as proven in the postseason for their pitching staff. So, yeah, overall, I think they're my favorite. So.
Yep, definitely looking good and not cheating. So number 2 is the Yankees, who had a little bit of August troubles, but seemed to pick it back up in September a little bit. Obviously, the big news from them is Aaron Judge now owning the single-season AL record in home runs. He hit 62 in Game 161 last night as we film. So, that's a pretty big deal. But they're going to have to shake that off, that whole chase, and get into postseason time.
Yeah, Luis Severino looked good in a start, had carried a no-hitter through 7. He's going to be vital to this postseason run. Judge AL home run record, and I see a lot of people talking about, he's not the real home run record, and sure, that's fine and all. Plenty of was encouraged, Bonds and McGuire and whatnot, but you look at it, and this has been a special season regardless for Aaron Judge, and it could at least be argued as the most impressive home run season. So it's a great season for Judge, especially as it went down late, and there was a lot of pressure on him, a lot of pressure on him. He just seems like a guy that didn't necessarily want all that attention either, but it was bound to come, and so good for him getting 62.
Yep, I'm one of those people. I'm not too thrilled with the attention it's been getting. Obviously, it's a big deal. I'm not going to argue that it's special, but he's not the first to ever do it, and I don't think it'll be the last. It seems to be, obviously it's a special year. It's going to take a while, but I don't think it'll be unreachable, so never know.
I really hope he goes and breaks his own record next year. I think that'd be something.
Well, he won't be in the AL next year.
Oh, maybe not.
That'll be a whole separate video when this playoffs is over. So, like you mentioned, the pitching's gonna have to get right for them. Not been too hot lately overall. So, a lot of injuries as well. Let's move into the 3 seed, Cleveland. I really like them. I feel like they're a lot closer to the Yankees than I thought they would be a couple months ago, for sure. They got a good balance, I think. You got guys that have been experienced in the playoffs, like Jose Ramirez, and then they're also, I think, aren't they the literal youngest team in baseball?
Yeah, I believe so.
A balance of youth and experience is perfect for this time of year.
Yeah, I like them more than I thought I would too. I'm conflicted how I feel about them in this 3-game set though, because Yes, the combination of putting the ball in play and their hustle and the field and stuff can go far in these games, but so can a timely 3-run home run that just, boom, basically wins you a game. And there's not too many guys in this Guardians lineup that have that potential to just flip a game like that. So they're really going to have to, string together an inning where they get a lot of hits, a lot of scrappy play. But they got the pieces. The pitching staff looks good, especially for a 3-game wild card set. And so, I hope they get it done. But they're playing the Rays, which we'll get into later, and the Rays just have some devil magic come October. So I don't know. I'm not too confident.
Well, that moves us into the Jays, who have gotten the 4 seed. One of my things I wrote down is, are they going to have a advantage of the border? Obviously, we've seen players have to miss during the regular season. Not going to be too great if one of your players, say the Cardinals make it to the World Series with them. Our 2 best players would not be there. So, do they have an advantage in that?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't gone through these AL teams to see who still wouldn't be able to play. I don't know. They're hosting the Mariners. All 3 of the wild game set. I don't know who that affects for the Mariners. We'll know shortly enough. But, I'm glad and it's not that I hate the Blue Jays by any means. I like a lot of players on that team, but I'm glad they're the 4 seed and not the 1 seed in the AL, because then it would be a huge, huge advantage. But it already is going to mean something. If they win this series, they'll play Houston. I don't know how that affects Houston either. It's an unfortunate thing, but that's where we are in this world now.
Yep.
So.
They look good, though, baseball-wise. They didn't meet the expectations I had for them, but they did make a run for that East when the Yankees were struggling. Speaking of making a run, the Mariners, they got in. Magic run this year, first since 2001. They got to keep that momentum going, I think. You're going, obviously, like we said, they're going into Toronto, so big atmosphere up there in Canada. So we'll see how long they can keep this rolling.
Yep, they got the arms now. The Castillo trade, I think he's scheduled already to pitch game 1. Logan Gilbert will probably fall in somewhere. And then, who am I forgetting?
You got Flexen, you got Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray, that's who I'm forgetting. So probably Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert, 2 and 3 in whatever order. So they got the arms to match up against Toronto. They just got to go get it done now. So.
Yep, for sure. And we'll get to the Rays now. You said you weren't confident in Cleveland because they were facing the Rays, but the Rays lost their last 5 games and 8 of the last 10. That is not what you want going into the playoffs at all, no matter who you are. So I'm not very confident in the Rays going into this.
It isn't at all. It's not what you want, but if any team can come back from that, I do feel like it is the Rays. They got Glasnow back. I think he's already scheduled to pitch game 2 now in this series. McClanahan will pitch game 1. Glasnow worked himself up to, I think, 5 innings in his most recent start. I think he'll be good to pitch around 80 pitches, which is really good for the Rays. They match up arm for arm with the Guardians now, if not better, with McClanahan and Glasnow. They could be the best 2 pitchers in this series, potentially. So I think the Rays have a combination of scrappy play, too. Wander Franco's back, So, yeah, if any team can right the ship just like that, I think it can be the Rays.
Sure. So let's swing over to the NL. The number 1 overall seed in all of baseball is the Dodgers. They won 111 games. They have a previous history other than the 60-game season of this time of the year has not been too great to them lately other than that. So it's going to be interesting. They have that pesky team from the East slated up for another NLCS if they get there, so that'll be fun to watch if they both get there. But yeah, 111 win season is obviously crazy impressive, and they also have a pretty deep roster.
Yeah, this might be the most unfortunate draw of a 1 seed ever. Baseball is still doing where the 1 seed's gonna play the 4 or the 5. It's not like NFL where they would play the 6 if the 6 advances, play lowest seed available. So if the Mets win this 4-5 matchup, they got to go Mets and then potentially Braves if chalk holds. That's brutal. That's really brutal for a team that tied fourth in wins all time. 111 was tied fourth. So the Mets and the Braves arguably have better pitching staffs than both of them, than the Dodgers too. Now I know the Dodgers had the best team ERA regular season, but you line up your guy versus guy in the postseason, and both these rotations hold strong. Like I said, with Gonsolin and Kershaw's not always been the best in the postseason. Urias hasn't always been the best in the postseason, so it'll be interesting.
Yep, definitely for sure. But that lineup is well within the reason to carry them on a night that the pitchers cannot. So, hope not. But Braves, let's get into that. A little bit of Braves and Mets. The Braves completed the sweep. Like we mentioned, they had that big series at home against the Mets. They completed the sweep and then clinched in Game 161 against the Marlins. So that is 5 straight division championships for the Braves, and they're going to try and keep that magic going from last year.
Yep, so Braves had to have the sweep, I think, as the final regular season turned out. If they had only won 2 of 3, they would have been tied, I believe, and the Mets would have had the season series, so they needed the sweep. They got the sweep, and good for them. They're riding a high wave going into the postseason, and they can continue it. So.
Yep, going to be interesting. They won't have Albies, I don't think. Maybe. He might be back. Not sure. But other than that, I think they're pretty healthy. Strider should be getting back. That's going to be huge. And then Fried had a little bit of a bug, I guess, in his start against the Mets, but I'm pretty sure he'll be good to go. So,
yeah, it's big for the Braves to get this 2 seed too, because now Strider gets an extra week to work back into form always if he's potentially going to come back, and so that's huge for them.
Yep. So that gets us into our team. The Cardinals are the 3. We'll be at games 2 and 3 of the wild card series, if there is 3. Going to be my first playoff baseball experience, so this should be fun. Albert and Yachty had their little final send-off of the regular season. It's time to get down to business.
Sir, so yeah, we were there all weekend, enjoying the festivities. Crazy stuff. We were there 3 hours plus before the game to get Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright bobbleheads, and definitely nothing like that's happened in St. Louis in quite some time, as we heard from fans around, but I'm interested if that's happened quite some time in MLB. So a lot of buzz around the guys, and then Sunday day, Albert hit 702 in the last regular season home game, and then hit 703 in Pittsburgh just recently, so that will be his final career total, 703.
Yep. I don't know. I'm so up in the air on how confident I want to be. Obviously, I want to support the team, but how realistically confident can I be? Pitching is a question mark. Helsley jammed his finger, which you wouldn't think is going to be serious, but as a pitcher that throws 104, jammed finger could be a big deal. So don't know his situation going into the wild card series. The starting pitching, we have a lot of options, but we don't have anybody that is just truly standing above the rest. I would say Montgomery and Michaelis are probably the 2 best right now. Wainwright's in a little bit of a funk. Quintana's looked good, so they'll probably roll. I don't know how we're gonna roll against the Phillies. I think we could, if we need to use 3, could use Montgomery and Quintana, because of Schwarber and Harper, probably 2 of their best hitters being lefties. It's not too big of a deal, but it'll be interesting. Hopefully we can send Albert and Yachty out in style.
Yeah, I obviously I want to be super confident too, but it's hard because I think we have the lineup to match up against quite literally anybody almost, but as of now, us and the Phillies are the only ones to not determine a starting pitcher for any 3 of the wild card series games. Now, Philly just might be determining, hey, is Nola going to pitch first or is Zach Wheeler going to pitch first? They know those 2 are going to be pitching in some way, shape, or order.
Yeah.
You look at Art for the wild card series, and it's tough to say this, but considering how shaky Wainwright's been recently, he should be the odd one out for the
Yeah,
wild card series.
before that last game we watched, where he gave up, I think, 6 to Pittsburgh, I probably had him slated in as the third, but I'm not gonna go there. I think he's probably the fourth or fifth now. He's just been sketchy at best. Flaherty looked solid his last outing. I still think he's best fit in the bullpen. So that first three, I think it's Montgomery, Michaelis, Quintana right now. I did want to note that we did lose the season series to them, I believe, by 1. A couple big games against them, though. We had Arenado's cycle in Philly, and then the next day we had 4 straight homers off of Kyle Gibson. But then Kyle Gibson came to St. Louis and shut us down through 7 innings. So Wheeler shut us down twice. Gibson shut us down once and then got rocked another time. And then Noah, actually, we beat up on Noah at home, the game he pitched against us this year. And then the other one was, I think, Falter pitched against us once or something. But anyway, I think Wheeler will shut us down whenever he pitches. It's going to be tough to get hit off of him. Noah's not looked crazy good lately, and he didn't pitch very well against us this year. And then Gibson is, I don't know. So,
and like you mentioned real quick, like I think those are the 3 guys for us: Quintana, Montgomery, Michaelis. But it's going to be a huge decision for Ollie Marmol. I mean, obviously Wainwright's going to be want to be one of those 3 starters. But like you said, I'm not super confident in this run just because we might have the worst starting pitching of all 12 teams in the playoffs when it's all said and done when you really look at it. So that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I feel like the pitch he can give Wainwright is, we get this done in 2 and you're starting an LDS game. So I feel like that's best case scenario. So let's move on. A little bit of a lot. That was a lot for our guys, but, you know. Number 4 seed is the Mets, who obviously fell apart in the division. And I don't like their matchup against the Padres, and neither do their announcers. So that's an interesting take.
Yeah, it's the worst case scenario for them. They got to move on quickly. I still think they got the pieces and got the roster to win a championship, but you got to get through this now. And best case scenario for them is they get through it with Scherzer and DeGrom game 1 and 2. You rest up a bit, you start Bassett, and you have Scherzer and DeGrom ready again for the NLDS. But it's a scary matchup against the Padres for sure, who are getting a little hot at the right time.
Yep, Darvish is obviously looking very good lately, and that's who the Mets announcers were mentioning, was Darvish looks good. But I still probably lean towards the Mets because it's at home, and obviously, like you mentioned, you got DeGrom, Scherzer. Although I think I heard something about them holding DeGrom and going with Scherzer and then I guess Bassett. So that's interesting.
That makes sense, kind of, though.
Yeah.
Because then DeGrom can be game 1 for your NLDS. So
it makes sense in that case, but at the same time, if you go down 0-1 after that first game, I think you got to throw him out there game 2.
Yeah, that's true also.
So, anyways, they definitely did not want to be in this situation against the Padres, who they look pretty good coming down the stretch. A little shaky. All the NL wildcard teams looked a little shaky down the stretch. We'll mention the Brewers real quick. Obviously not going to be in the playoffs, but that was funny to watch as a Cardinals fan. The way they fell apart after the Hader trade, and Hader for the Padres has looked pretty good down the stretch. Finally figuring it out. So they got a deep lineup and they got decent pitching. I don't think they have the Mets pitching, but I think that'll be a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. Padres pitchers are really good, but all of them that would probably start in this series, I know Darvish is lined up for game 1, probably Joe Musgrove, and probably, I'm forgetting again.
Snow.
Yeah, Snow. So all 3 of them have been very good and good as of late. But they all have the potential to blow up, too, and we've seen that in regular season games prior. So Mets just got to get to him in one inning. And then even some of the relievers, Josh Hader's been very good recently too, but he's obviously shown the potential to blow up. And so, but the Padres got to hold strong for all 9 innings in some of these games and close it out if they want the win. So.
Yep, and then the last team, the Phillies, we kind of got onto them with the Cardinals. Rotation has been a question mark, but they got guys that can go out there and shut down anybody on a given night. So lineup's solid, pitching's good. I'm not too confident in their bullpen, really. It just doesn't feel like there's anybody that's just locked down right now out there. I do like their 4 and 5 pitchers, so I think we'll definitely see them in the wild card. You got Suarez and Falter. I like those guys, lefties. It's just, do you use a lefty against the Cardinals lineup is the question there. So they got a lot of question marks, and they got to go in and win in St. Louis with us there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's going to be a big question mark too. Who's that third pitcher still? We mentioned it a couple weeks earlier, but if you pitch Wheeler and Nola, and now you're in a game 3, is it Syndergaard? Is it Gibson? Gibson just blew up in his most recent start, so it's probably Syndergaard, but he's not been the same pitcher as of old, but he can still get it done for you. So.
Yeah, going to be interesting. So that's a little bit of it on each team. I've got a bracket. I don't know if you got yours done already, but I guess we're going to go into these now, huh?
Absolutely.
I'll go ahead and start. Why not? So, like we mentioned, Houston's got the 1 seed, Dodgers got the 1 seed, and the Yankees got the 2, Braves got the 2, so they got buys to the NLDS. So the wild card series, first up you got the 4 seed Jays against the 5 seed Mariners, and I'm gonna go with the 4 seed Jays partially because of the environment. Playoff baseball in Toronto is a wild scene, but I feel a lot more confident in their lineup than I do the Mariners. But the Mariners pitching could shut them down. Never know. But I'm going with the Jays for that one. And then the other one is the 3 seed Guardians against the 6 seed Rays. And I kind of alluded to it, but I'm not confident in the Rays, so I'm rolling with Cleveland in that one. So that sets up Houston, Toronto, and the Yankees versus Cleveland. I guess I'll jump over to the NL before I do anything. Or do we want to alternate this?
Yeah, we'll swing to me now. I'll do the AL.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Blue Jays, Mariners. I'm going to go Blue Jays too. Mariners, you waited 21 years, but a lot of pressure. Or, maybe you're playing with house money. I don't know, but it feels like there's going to be a lot of pressure in Toronto, so I'm going to go Toronto to get it done there. And then Tampa Bay going into Cleveland. I'm going to go Tampa Bay here. I'll mix it up a bit. I'm going to say Tampa Bay just works their devil magic like they do and find a way. So.
All right. So let's jump over to the NL wild card. We got the 4 seed Mets against the 5 seed Padres. I'm rolling with the Mets. I think they obviously you got good pitchers on Padres, but you don't have the Mets pitching. Mets lineup is pretty solid. They're at home, rolling with that. So I got the Mets taking that one. And then the 3 seed Redbirds against the 6 seed Phillies. Got to go 3 seed Cardinals. So that sets up Braves Cardinals. Oh my goodness! If you know me at all, that's going to be wild. And then you got Dodgers Mets on the other side, so that's also crazy.
Yep, I'm going to go with the Mets too. Mets over Padres. I think Padres are sneaky here, and I would love to see them take down the Mets and the Dodgers both. I think that would be great, interesting, but I do not believe in it fully. But I think it will be a good series. And then Cards versus Phillies. Why would I even be attending games 2 and 3 if I didn't believe and pick the Cards here? So
why are we attending game 3? There's not going to be one. But
I think there probably will.
I also feel that way. I think there will be. I just hope we don't lose that first one because it's going to suck playing 2 games backs against the wall. But let's jump back over to the ALDS.
I like it.
Let's go back over to the ALDS. I have Houston against Toronto. I'm going with Houston in that one. Like we mentioned, it's going to be interesting to see if anybody has to miss that. And then the Yankees and Cleveland. I'm rolling with Cleveland to the ALCS.
Ooh, okay. Okay, I like it. Houston, Toronto, I'm also going Houston. Just way too many arms over there. Toronto's going to have to already use up some arms to get through Seattle. And Yankees versus the Rays for me, and I'm also going to go with the upset with the Rays.
All right, so
Neither. It's just Yankees, hate from both of us.
Well, I just feel like I don't think they're a team that can sit and wait like they're going to have to.
True.
They need to be playing. So, yeah, that's part of the reason. But I'm pretty confident in Cleveland right now. I'm big on them. So that sets up Houston-Cleveland for me. So let's jump over to the NLDS. We got Dodgers-Mets. Rolling Dodgers in that one. I think they're going to – I think it could be a 3-game series, maybe 4. Mets are gonna have to get through that Padres series. It's gonna be tough, and then you go to the Dodgers. So, and then I got Braves Cardinals. Oh my goodness, who do I go with? It's so tough. We're rolling with the Cardinals. I'm rolling with them. Obviously, it's gonna be big if we take down the defending champions. It's gonna get us going. So that sets up Dodgers Cards for me.
Dodgers versus Mets. I'm actually going to go with the Mets here. I think this being in the wild card gives them a little extra motivation for this playoff run. I think they get through the Padres in 2 games, have DeGrom lined up for Game 1 of the NLDS, and have DeGrom lined up for Game 5. And so if DeGrom wins you 2 of the 3 games you need, then you just got to find a way to win 1 more.
And I think 2 of those 3 will be at home.
Yeah, exactly. So I think DeGrom could really... He's got the potential to carry you through that series. We'll see if he can get it done, but that's going to be my little early upset pick there. And then, Cards Braves. I mean, realistically, I would go Braves, I think. But we're going to stick with the Cards one more round here.
Well, if we're being realistic, come on now. You got to be realistic.
Just don't like the pitching anymore. I thought I did, but now I don't.
You gotta go Braves. If you're being realistic, come on now. Can't be just.
So you're saying I need to pick the Braves?
I'm saying if that's what your gut's telling you right now, that's probably who you should pick.
All right, I'll go with the Braves because it sets up an interesting Braves-Mets. But obviously, let's go Cards. But
yeah. Yep. So we believe me, going forward on this list, we've already got enough Cardinals bias. So one of us has to not be that one. So this sets up the ALCS Houston-Cleveland, and I'm going to go with Houston for that one. Just feel like they're, like we said, maybe the favorite. So really strong. They'll have plenty of pitching even after going against the Jays, and that's where Cleveland's run is going to end.
If I have Houston versus Tampa, then I'm going Houston in 4 games also. It's absolute domination.
I'm going with like 5 or 6 maybe. No, I'm not going to go with a sweep, but yeah. So I got Dodgers Cardinals on the other side, and like I said, I'm rolling with them. Going Cardinals, just beat the defending champs. Now you're going to take down 2 years ago defending champs. So World Series is Houston and Cardinals.
Yeah, so I got Mets Braves in mine. Obviously, the Braves just swept them, but it was all at home. I think that's going to give the Mets more added motivation, and they're going to go through the gauntlet. They're going to go take down San Diego at New York, but they're going to take down San Diego. They're going to take down LA, and they're going to take down the Braves in a 7-game series. They're going to get it done in Atlanta in Game 7. They're going to go to Atlanta up 3-2, lose Game 6, win Game 7. Me sets up Houston versus New York Mets World Series. I think,
you were supposed to not be biased, but you were supposed to still take my Braves.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, I think back at the All-Star break, I said
this
World
was your
Series
matchup,
rematch.
I think. No, I think
I said Houston, Atlanta.
No, I think this was your matchup. You took Mets.
Yeah, it was. Okay, well, sure. We're sticking with it then.
Yeah. I don't know if this is what I took, but yeah, it's in here somewhere. I can probably find it. But my World Series, like I said, Houston and St. Louis. We've come this far.
That'd be a doozy.
We've come this far.
Old NL Central foes.
Exactly. We're going to take them down in 7. Let's go, Birds.
Ooh, in Houston. Oh, my gosh. Houston's in shambles.
We're going to Houston up 3-2, and we're going to win we're going to lose and then win Game 7.
Let's see. Who's going to be on the mound starting that Game 7?
Game 7. Well, let's see. Let's say Game 1 is Monty. Game 2 is Michaelis. We're going to get one of those two. We're going to go home, and we're going to have Quintana get a win. We're going to have Wainwright's going to lose Game 4. Game 5, Monty's going to get us another win. Game 6, Michaelis is going to have a tough loss. And then we're going to go a little bit of committee. We're going to go Quintana, and then Flair's going to come in. And then Packy Naughton is getting the save. Let's go.
Oh, my gosh. The Packmeister. Oh
Packy out of nowhere.
His hero.
I don't even know if he'll be on that roster, but
he won't.
Packy Naughton, I got to go with it. So, yeah. And then World Series MVP is going to be Nolan Arenado.
Yes. So, my scenario would be Houston versus New York. I'm going to Houston. We're going to finally get the cheating scandal pretty much behind them. They're going to win this one, as we all hope legitly. We hope it will be legit this one.
I have no knowledge of it not being legit, but I sure hope.
So, and then I'm going to go World Series MVP. Justin Verlander.
Okay. All right. So, we both got the same AL teams, but we definitely don't have the same NL.
This NL is going to be wild.
I think both of them will be wild. NL is going to be even more wild for sure. So, it's going to be interesting. We'll be there for wild card series. Playoff baseball is here, and it's going to be wild. So, enjoy it, because after it's over, we got to wait a long winter.
Yeah.
So, yep. Appreciate
so
you
be on the
watching.
lookout. We will post wild card recap series and then preview the ALDS probably come Monday. So going to be a good time. Enjoy it. Crazy series. So.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Until next time. Peace.